Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to Otaku. Chris is talking, and this is your weekly anime review for ACCA 13. This is for episode 4. So let's talk about what the hell's happened. Let's just start off and say this series is doing very well with the world building. I mean, we're getting a nice amount of world building per episode, and normally it's like you would normally feel in a series like that, not enough is being done, or maybe there's not enough plot per episode. How are they going through enough? But what's crazy is what the series is managing to do is keep the theme of the coup d'etat and bring it throughout every single episode. Even from episode 1, they literally just dropped it a little bit. Then episode 2, they mentioned it a bit more. Then in episode 3, when they were in the Doha Kingdom, in the Doha Kingdom, it was mostly heavily focused on that. Episode 4, it is about the coup d'etat, but it's not about the one that we think it's about. It's about what's going on in the Suitsu Kingdom. Suitsu in the Suitsu Kingdom. Kingdom? District. Fuck my life. I do apologize, because I'm a noob. District in all these, so the Doha district, which was at the kingdom, I guess, and now we're in the Suitsu district, which it's kind of fucked in that district, and this episode really focuses on basically just us understanding what's going on in this district, how just the general public are living, and the difference between Gene Otis when he went to the district and he went there with his phone and everything, and then we kind of totally took for granted that Gene has a phone. Like, one of the first things he did was try to get in contact with someone, but at first I didn't really understand it until the episode went through and we realized how little technology, how little influence from the outside world they actually have. And this episode really went out of its way to really put in our mind, really stick it in our brain that these people in this kingdom, they are stuck there. It's not like in the Doha Kingdom, where even though it's kind of poshish and people riding on horses and shit, and there's fucking castles and everyone's rich and shit, like, they can come in and out, they can go around, they can travel, that's all cool. Like, they can have they had like some laws which kind of seemed different, like, you weren't allowed to smoke in certain places, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, it looked all fucking sunshine and roses, was in comparison to this episode, where it's kind of like, all right, these guys, they're blocked off from the outside world. We don't know any different. They've been stuck in this loop. Like, their time hasn't progressed. Their civilization hasn't progressed over the past 100 years. So that's why everyone's all wearing top hats and shit, looking like an idiot. And bloody, you notice is coming through, thinking everyone looks like an idiot, but they're all looking at him like he looks like an idiot. And he's like, what the hell's going on here? And he's like, okay. But now, originally, he went over to the Suitsu Kingdom district, to the Suitsu district, because he was doing an audit there, and he needed to also check up on one of his colleagues, Warble. What a fucking weird name, to go check up on Warble. And normally around this time is when he would either place him to another, like, he kind of marks him on how he's doing as an inspector or a detective, where the fuck they are in that district, and then would then station him somewhere else or whatever, because Geonosis is actually quite high up and has quite a lot of power, which it seems, and everyone's still talking about him. The word on the town is Gene, last name Otis. Everyone fucking, he is what is really important right now. And so Warble, he seemed like he was like quite a serious guy, like he got the job done, he was a very to the books kind of guy. But then, like, it was crazy to find out, obviously, spoiler alert for those people who want to end up saying this is a spoiler review. Yeah, I'm talking about what's happening in the bloody episode. But Warble, you end up finding out Warble was actually part of the coup d'etat that was going on, which also, once again, we also got introduced to Biscuit, who is one of the ACCA 13 guards, but from the Suitsu Kingdom, from one of the just the common general public, then joining the ACCA 13. So it's not like an outsider like Warble, it's like an insider kind of thing. And you kind of see them, like, they're wearing their own military uniform, which looks hella dated, really, from God knows back when. Like, so it's interesting to see, like, the current ACCA 13 uniform and, like, the old one, like, with old bloody rifle guns and all that kind of shit. And, like, he had that proper, like, the old school hairstyles. Everyone there was so different in that district. It was so weird. And at first I thought Geonosis didn't really seeing that interested about it. But as the episode went on, once they mentioned coup d'etat, and then he thought it was about the main coup d'etat, he ended up being stringed along in this whole series and being like, okay, this wasn't really the information I was trying to look for. But once he realized that it had nothing to do with what he was looking to do, what he was kind of searching about, what's the rumors in the grapevines and stuff, Warble comes through the door and he's like, Gene? And it's like, oh shit. So it was really good to have everything all tie in and connect. I liked that Gene and Warble also witnessed what happened there. And Warble's been there, I think it was around 4 years, was it? I don't know. I don't know how long it was. 4 months, 4 years. If you could just let me know in the comment box down below, just to jog my memory, because I'm just lazy. So please. Basically, he's been there for a while, and he said that whilst he was there, he just couldn't do anything about it. Like he felt like he was helpless, that they were helpless, that there was fuck all he could do about it. And coming from an outside point of view and then living with these people, it's kind of like, if you didn't have like, I don't know, like he just had a big heart. He really felt their pain, and being from an outside, it kind of gave him a perspective of like, man, these guys don't know what they're missing. And they were really strict with how the civilians were living there and how outsiders were being treated as well. So the outsiders, people from the outside of the district, they have to go in specific restaurants and whatnot so that they can just act normal, use their phones and talk about certain politics and whatnot. Everything is kept hush hush and kept in the bloody district, and that was pretty crazy. I'm very interested to see where next week's episode goes. I know that now they're going to be focusing back on the coup d'etat a bit more heavily, and maybe this is where the series is going to go hard on. I'm really liking hard on. What the fuck? Who says that? I really like how I like the plot of this overall series of the coup d'etat, and I'm interested to see how things go. We're being introduced to loads of very intriguing characters, a lot of higher ups, loads of characters are being like thrown to our faces, so it's kind of hard to remember every single name, especially as they don't have that much like screen time. But like in episodes like today where we have Warble, like he was emotional, man, straight up to Warble, and it was nice to see that Gene had pretended to play the prick and said, oh, you failed your audit, so you have to stay here a bit longer, and like so like kind of like, oh shit. So it was crazy, and because everything was everything was like a hush hush, like basically he ended up basically twisting the arm of the ACCA 13 members over there, because they don't want any, well, I think it was the government, I think they didn't want anything to be like let spread outside of the district, which is pretty crazy. There was a mini subplot of this I think this Congressman Burr, whatever his name is. This guy was a dick. The mini subplot of Congressman Burr was so unfair, man. Like, this guy, he came from the poverty and from the from being locked off of the rest of the world in the Suitsu district, and he worked his way up into bloody politics and ended up being a representative of that district. And those representatives, they are the ones who are allowed to leave the district and basically kind of discuss certain topics and speak to the higher ups and maybe even try to change a few things. And he actually promised change. This prick, the second he left that place, he never came back. He just straight up never came back. But that is crazy. So like now it's kind of like, if he knows that if he goes, well, it's not like he never came back. He decided to kind of work his way up and then transfer him some bullshit. So now it's kind of like he's up there and influential and like, but he's totally not looking back at living in the Suitsu district, and he's totally forgotten everyone. So I like that mini subplot, and yeah, that's about it really. What did you guys think of this episode? I feel like this series is getting better. It's getting a lot better. It's not as boring as the first episode, and I think this is due to the world building that we're getting now in this series, as well as characterization for certain other people. Like, this episode focused a lot more on Warble and Biscuit. What fucking weird names. So like, these things are what's making this work, and obviously this is by Madhouse. Studio Madhouse are the ones who are doing it as well. So visually, and I like the art style, the colors, the music, the opening, everything's going very well. I'd give this like an 8 to an 8.5. I'm very like, it would be a 9 if it kind of, if we had a bit more to do with the coup d'etat and the overall plot. But hey, we can't have everything. What did you guys think? I hope you enjoyed this review. If you do subscribe to Article Chris is Talking for my weekly ACCA 13 reviews, as well as my other anime, manga, otaku reviews and things like that. And yeah, that's about it really. I should fucking go to sleep now. It's like midnight 42. Have a great day. Chris is Talking. No. Otaku Chris is Talking. Sorry, I just changed the name just recently because I'm on Otaku. Because yeah, I am that. And obviously the nerdy stuff in the background. Alright, anyways, I'm fucking waffling on. Peace.